An important day for retailers across the country, especially Best Buy. Just your initial thoughts. How is it looking so far in terms of shoppers coming into your store, buying online thus far on Black Friday?
Well, so far so good. Anecdotally, our lines appear to be longer this year than they were a year ago. Our stores are very busy, so we're very pleased with what we're seeing so far, although it's early.
One of the interesting things that you said not long ago is that you're predicting that the strength in terms of this holiday shopping season, which is critical for you guys, is going to come near the end of the season, that people are going to be a little more hesitant up front to spend. Do you still feel that way?
You know, I do. Christmas has been coming later and later. I think we'll see a very solid weekend this weekend, Black Friday weekend, and then I think we'll see Christmas get very compacted again in the sort of 10 days before December 25th.
When you were deciding with your team what deals you'd put out there, how much you would cut prices to try to beat your competitors, how far did you have to go? How far have you had to discount to get people to come in and buy big ticket items? Because that's mainly what you guys sell, and especially the items with larger margins. How much did you have to cut those down?
Yeah, you know, we have a sort of wide range there, Poppy. We have smartphones that were free this morning. We have really terrific deals in home theater. So we've gone across sort of the broad spectrum. What we really do is focus in the categories that are most important to our core customers. And we call them the connected categories. So smartphones, tablets, computing, home theater, and the connected gaming devices, and 3D television. I mean, we've taken deep discounts on all those things to give our customers a great sort of panoramic value scheme across the store.
Brian, what are people coming in for? I mean, obviously the iPad is hot. You also discounted the Nook by about a third. You sell the Kindle. I mean, are people coming in for these items wanting to walk out today with them, waiting to buy them for these discounts on them?
Yeah. What we're seeing is the e-reader category is very hot for us. As I mentioned, the smartphones are very, very hot. Computing is hot. And we're seeing some movement in home theater, which, frankly, is really great to see.
What is surprising you most? I'd love you to compare this holiday season to last. In both, we knew that the economy was weak last year. It is still weak this year. Americans are making a little bit more money, but they're also saving a lot more. This conspicuous consumption that we know so well in this country seems to be pulled back a little bit. What are you seeing, and anything surprising you, Brian, about the way people are spending so far?
I think what's interesting is you're right. People are definitely pulling back and being more thoughtful and sort of spending just in time, just in front of their needs. But we're also seeing an interesting phenomenon when there's a new product launch, when there is a new hot game title. We still have lines outside of our stores, so customers will come out, but they need to have a reason to come out. And that reason might be a holiday event. It might be a new product launch, but we're seeing more and more strength in new product launches.
And when you look at the country as a whole, geographically, where's the strength for Best Buy? Where's the weakness? Is it correlating to the unemployment crisis across the country, where you have higher unemployment, you've got weaker sales?
Yeah, our business really correlates well to unemployment rates and to real estate valuation. It's a very interesting phenomenon for us. So where those things are stronger or weaker, our business correlates pretty well.
Is there one part of the country where you're seeing the most strength?
I think we're seeing pretty good strength across the country, and it's hard for me to sort of break out, Poppy, and say this market's hot and this one's not, but it correlates really well with employment, and it correlates really well with real estate values.
And finally, the big focus is jobs, especially when you're talking about a retailer like Best Buy that has the ability to hire thousands of seasonal workers. Brian, how many have you brought on this season, and are you expecting to hang on to some of them full time?
You know, we brought on about 20,000 seasonal workers, and historically we usually retain 20 to 25% of those workers. They stay with us after the holiday season. I think that's a pretty good number, and we're pretty optimistic that'll be the same this year.
What's your best guess as to where we are in terms of the stage of this economic recovery, Brian?
I think we are at the front end of a sort of sustained recovery. I don't think it's going to be a steep ramp out. I think it's going to be a slow, gradual climb. And I think there's a pragmatism that comes with this sort of new normal as we grow out of this. I think people are going to make good and smart decisions about all the things in their lives. So I don't think this is a rapid ramp. I think it is a slow, steady growth out.
Good to hear we're at least at the beginning of some of that recovery. Brian Dunn joining us from Minneapolis. Thanks for spending time with us today. Appreciate it.
Thanks, Poppy.